What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Joining me in the thick garage where it is 110 degrees. I'm already sweating from the wing install. But today we are actually doing a new carbon fiber front lip, as you guys saw in one of the previous videos. It is very similar to the one that I currently have on the car right now. However, the lip that I have on the car right now, the way that the front of this car works, there's a little bit of a rise in the center and then a dip on the edges. It makes the front of the car look really, really high. So if you look at my wheel to fender gap, I'm pretty much right there with the fender. But if you look at the actual lip, it doesn't look like it on camera, but it's pretty high off the ground. I like the contours of this REXPEED lip a little bit better. I like how it has a little bit of a gap in between the bumper and the lip with these risers. I just like the style a little bit better than the current one I have on. I think the one I have on is still a good option, but this one just has a little bit more character to it. So this one is actually from Speed Industry. I'm gonna link it down below for you guys. We're just gonna do the quick install today. They did send hardware. I am gonna do a little bit of 3M on any of the contact points. I think that's just a wise move for reassurance. But when using the bolts, you guys make sure you use the bolts and the nuts and washers. Probably not a good idea to just do like self-tapping screws. This takes a lot of downforce. You'll lose it. Eventually, you'll lose the lip if you run it without actual nuts and bolts. We're gonna jack up the car, crawl underneath, rip the old one off, and then no, the old one is not for sale. It's already spoken for. A lot of people asking for it. I actually don't even know if they sell this one anymore. It hasn't been in stock in a long time. But this one I know for sure is in stock and you can get this. REXPEED is pretty well known in the Supra world, I guess you could say, Supra community. They make a lot of different carbon parts for cars and specifically Supras. It's a good looking carbon product. I don't have any issues with it. We'll see how it fits. Obviously that's a big part. I will say this lip that I have on here from Keys Motorsports fits extremely well. This thing is like perfect. Like I said, it's not a bad lip. It's just a little bit bland. And I'm kind of picky when it comes to the carbon parts that I put on my car. And I just want a little more of something up front. There aren't a ton of options for this car yet. The other lips that I know about, they cover this up. And I really didn't want one that covered that up because I think that looks weird if that's all carbon and then that just remains black. So I wanted something that retained like the splitter style, but also had a little bit more like design element to it. I really think that having those risers makes a big difference. It also follows the contour lines of the bumper. So these parts go down and will follow into the lip, which I think is super sick. Let's go ahead and jack the car up, rip this one off. We are gonna have to remove some of the plastic shielding underneath so we can reach behind and get those bolts in, but it shouldn't be too big of a problem. This one is 3M tape, and we got some bolts and screws going across. Gonna pop those out, remove those, and then we'll take out these 8mm right here, running across there, and that will give us access to the back so we can put the nuts and bolts on and everything. And yeah, I mean, this should be pretty straightforward, you guys. Shouldn't be too difficult. All right, I don't know that we need to have all of these removed, but while I was down there, I might as well just pop them all out. Here's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna go ahead, take some isopropyl, clean off everything underneath, make sure we get a nice clean point of contact. And then I'll go ahead and line this, just lay it up underneath and see which bolts are gonna be covered up, because some of those 8mm, I mean, they might be covered up by the actual lip because it's so big. And obviously if we cover those up and then we put this on, we're not gonna be able to access them. And I want to make sure that all my factory bolts are in there. So if this lip covers up any of those 8mm bolts, I'll make sure to put those in first. Other than that, I should be able to leave a couple out and access bolts from behind. Now, when it comes to running bolts like this, the safe way to probably do it, and like the right way to probably do it, is to take off the entire front bumper and do it like that and bolt this entire thing up to it. I'm not gonna do that because I think that's possibly a little bit of overkill. I've personally ran a lot of different lips, and every time that I've gone as far as to remove a bumper and like completely bolt it up, it's always been overkill. I'm gonna be doing a mixture of nuts and bolts. I'll probably do like 4 nuts and bolts, 4 or 5, spread out across the entire lip, and then I'll do self-tapping and 3M, and that will be plenty. I guarantee you it will not come off. The nuts and bolts are the insurance policy. No matter what, I know that those won't fail, unless I get into a car accident, obviously, at which point wouldn't really matter. So yeah, let's go ahead and clean the bottom, mock it up, see how she looks, and we'll go from there. All right, so being that I am by myself, and anytime I do this alone, the reason I use the 3M is because it helps me just keep it up on the car while I'm positioning it. So I'll put just a couple of pieces of 3M, try and find where it best fits, and then if I like where it is, I'll leave it and start doing all of the nuts and bolts and everything. If not, pull it back off, new 3M, put it back on. From what I've learned in the past, it's always good to kind of line it up based off of the edges, like the sides. If you can get that to line up from side to side, chances are your center is gonna be good. Anytime I've tried to line a lip up from the center, it's always been a little bit off. So my suggestion, the contours of this lip on the inside, bingo, match all of that stuff. And you can really see like that weird design right there goes right into this weird design right here. So it's form fitted and it should make things a little bit easier when it comes to actually lining it up. So what we'll probably do is just put like one piece of little 3M right there, and that's gonna help us stick it up there, and then we'll move across and just do it like that. That's the best way to do it without having two people. If you have two people, dude, cakewalk, so easy. But when you're by yourself, it's a little bit more difficult. All right, so that's what we're running with. Sides, center, center, sides. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a box that's relatively high up on this side. I'm gonna set that side on the box, and then this side, we're gonna pull off the 3M, put it on the bumper, same thing with that side, and then we'll go ahead and position the middle, put that adhesive on, and then we can go ahead and start putting in our screws. All right, just did a little bit of test fitting. Yeah, man, it fits really, really good. Like the contours are perfect. So that's gonna make my life super easy when installing this. Lines up literally perfectly, slides right into place. Super easy. Got a box holding it up in the front, backpack and a box on this side. By all means necessary. So now that we have it positioned, let's just go ahead and put a couple of bolts in. And after we get a couple of bolts in, it'll be held into place. Put one on the side, one in the middle, you know, across here. All right, this side is good. Nut and bolt, factory, little plastic rivet, nut and bolt. And then you will have to take out a couple of those plastic rivets. See it right there. And then there's a hole down here. It's kind of hard to see, but you'll have to drill that out as well to accommodate the size of this actual plastic piece. Everything else seems pretty easy. Nut and bolt, nut and bolt. Kind of hard to sneak your hand behind there and put the washer and nut on, but you'll get it. You just got to be sneaky with it. Okay, let's talk about what we did here. So basically, we've got those two little silver ones right here are just reassurance self-tappers. That is a bolt and a washer. That is just the factory plastic push pin. I wanted to retain those when possible because that hole is really big and you can't fit much else in there to catch. That is a bolt and a washer. That is two bolt washers, a couple of random self-tappers. I couldn't find like a good spot to grab, so I just put two in. And then we had the same thing going on here. A couple of insurance policies, the plastic factory push pin, and then bolt washers right there. Bolt washer, and then another bolt washer. She is on. She's not going anywhere. But man, look at how much better this thing looks, dude. I just think it looks a lot better than the other one. Love how it follows the contours of the bumper. Like that's one of the things that really stood out to me. And now it's even. Like the whole bottom is flat rather than having this like weird kind of like hump in the middle. It stays flat because it has these spacers. So yeah, in my opinion, dude, this looks way better. It sticks out just a little bit further than the other lip as well, so just a little bit more aggressive, but then it comes in closer on the sides, which also I like. So let's look at fitment. Freaking, dude, spot on. Really, really good fitment. You'll see when you actually install it, it's like really easy because of how well it fits. Contours and everything line up super well. The mold is solid. Again, this side, solid fitment. So yeah, that's how I would do it. I think that this is a really good way to make sure that the lip never falls off on you. If you wanted to go one step further, you know, you'd go ahead and remove the bumper, but I don't think that's necessary. I think you're gonna be just fine with having this many bolt washers and, you know, the screw setup that I have. It's a little bit of a cluster, like there's a lot of random stuff going on, but it will work, I promise. Completely drenched. I've been in here all day. It's 100. I've definitely lost weight being in here. So this is how I would do it. I think that this is perfectly fine. I really like this lip. Over the previous one, I think that this one is just a little bit better. There's not that much else that I want to do to the car. So I am driving to the Keys Auto Show in a couple of weeks here. That's why you'll see the front bumper has like a lot of little pits in it underneath the PPF. When I get back from Keys Motorsports Show, I'm gonna actually have the entire front bumper resprayed and then re-PPF'd, so it's like mint. But right now it looks okay, it's not great. Anyways, I hope you guys like the new look, the new lip, the new wing, everything. I really enjoy it. It's such a sick setup. It's so much more aggressive. And of course, if you don't like it, that's fine too. It's good that we have a difference in opinions when it comes to designs and modifications, because that's where inspiration comes from. If we always listen to what everybody else said, everyone would be the same, and that would be super boring. So I'm loving this for now. I might throw the black wheels on in a little bit, just to kind of see what it looks like with all this new stuff. I bet it's gonna look wild, super murdered out. But I'll link down below this new lip. Thank you, Speed Industry, for sending this out. Super awesome company. Plenty of Supra modifications for you guys. Check them out. That will wrap this video up, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one. Peace out.